Now let's go ahead and Mizzix Mastery, and we will get to play everything that they milled. So all that milling that they did, that's a huge backfire for them, because look at all this. We're going to definitely make them sad with this. So first, River's Rebuke. All that shit back to your hand. Karn's Temporal Sundering. We will, sort of a redundant effect, we'll just put this back in their hand. We'll Damnation. We'll Expropriate. We will not Alchemist Gambit, because I'm not sure how that cleave thing works. I'm not interested in losing the game. We will Seagate's Restoration. We will Blasphemous Edict. And we will Temporal Manipulation. And we'll decline that. And there's going to be 7 nasty spells on the stack. And get the hell out of here, is it? Just get out of here. Smiley face, of course. Welcome to Salt Mine Gaming. Today we're going to be taking Bolas Time Theft to the arena again with some hilarious results. I've made a lot of changes to this deck, and I'm not even going to do a deck tag. We're just going to start playing, irritating opponents, and seeing what happens. Let's do it. Alright, as Arena loves to do, we're paired against yet another green player. Not too happy about that. Azusa Lost But Seeking. You can play 2 additional lands on each of your turns. The hell you are. I mean, they'll do it, and they'll play it a Crater Hoof, but I'm going to do my best to stop it. Alright, so luckily in our opening hand, it looks like we've got a Damnation, which is precisely what we want to see. We are a counterless deck, so all of our interaction comes in the form of removal. We're not trying to counter anything. We're allowing everything our opponent is doing. We're just going to kill them. Alright, so Valki, God of Lies, acts like somewhat of a Thoughtseize that doesn't take it out of their hand, just lets us know what kind of bullshit they have in their hand. So what are they going to be playing? They'll probably be playing Loot, so we'll take that. Chances are we won't be transforming Loot. We're just trying to slow these people down. So turn 3, looks like they can play their Azusa. And they don't have anything really too big. They got this Nylea's Forerunner. Other creatures have Trample. Looks like it's just like a common from Theros Beyond Death. Alright, they play Fertilid. That lets them ramp. Alright, we will... We can't really... I guess we'll just play this and pay 3 mana. Or pay 3 life, rather. And let's go ahead and get this Urza's Construction drone going. So, this one I like a lot. I never really saw it before until maybe a couple weeks ago in Arena. And in my kind of deck that wants to ramp a ton, this is like just really cool. And you'll see what it does here in a second. So, let's think about this. Do we want to attack? We will not. That might... So the reason why I didn't attack is because I don't want them to know that I've got a board wipe coming. And I'm not going to use Valki's ability here to make it a copy of the loot, because I won't be able to do much, because the activated ability costs 4 and 2 green, and we don't have green. Alright, so they play Defense of the Heart. Unluckily for them, we don't play a lot of creatures. So that's not really going to activate. Because it says at the beginning of your upkeep, if an opponent controls 3 or more creatures, sacrifice this enchantment, search your library for up to 2 creature cards, put those cards on the battlefield, then shuffle. So it's a great way for your opponent to have some kind of game-winning play. So here we're going to just attack with the Urza's Construction Zone. Drone, I'm sorry. And that's going to seek us a Urza land. So we could get Urza's Mine, Urza's Power Plant, and Urza's Tower. What these end up doing is they're lands that tap for 1, but if we have all 3 of them in play, we get... Let's see. We can have 7 mana. This type of land card was a staple in Modern back in the day. It was played with the Eldrazi decks. Alright, so here they're going to... So they don't really have a lot that they can do, I guess. They can play their Nyxborn Hydra here for Bestow next turn. So they've got a Field of Ruin. Probably going to activate that to get rid of my Phyrexian Tower. So notably, we can sacrifice our Urza's Construction drone at any time to get another one of these Urza lands. So we're not going to board wipe yet. They just don't have anything in play that matters yet. I did almost miss the extra turn that I have, which is what this deck is built entirely on. You can see I have Part the Water Veil, and I've got Temporal Trespass both in my hand, as well as Expropriate. So I made a little short yesterday about sad horn sound playing when my opponents realize that I'm playing all the extra turn spells you can in Arena. And that's going to be pretty true today, I feel like. So we attack there. Let's go ahead and Part the Water Veil. We don't need to do the Awaken 6. We don't care about creatures. We don't want to activate anyway because the Defense of the Heart. So Part the Water Veil. I'm going to auto-pay. So I need to sack a creature. So let's sack the Urza's Construction Zone since it's got our value. And it's going to get us the final piece of the Urza power. So we've got all that. We've got the Dimir Signet. We'll go ahead and activate Loot. So pay 3 mana. Just give us a defensive body here. So one thing I missed there is that now that we've got Loot, we can play an additional land. So yes, I will do that. And I think there's actually a lot of value to slowing them down here. So if they don't have anything to bestow on, they're not going to be able to hit us for a gigantic amount of damage. So yeah, let's go ahead and Damnation. We'll sack the Loot to that. They'll get it back. That's fine. But we're not trying to play fairly. We're just trying to take as many extra turns as possible and cause our opponent as much grief as possible. Yeah, they can Field of Ruin one of our lands, and they may well. Alright, they destroy our tower. That's fine. So we'll just grab what? Looks like we're light on red, so let's grab a red. Thanks for color fixing us. I mean, honestly, we would have rather had the Urza's Tower. I do have Midnight Clock in here and some other effects that can get this back. But we're ramping pretty hard. We're almost keeping up with the green deck. It's just pretty cool. Oh, wow. We top-decked another extra turn spell. So we have Expropriate. We have Temporal Trespass. Let's lead them off with the Temporal Manipulation. I feel like they're going to scoop pretty soon. We'll dump that. We'll play the Undercity Sewers to set up our next turn. Talisman, we don't need that. We'll just dump that to make Temporal Trespass a little cheaper. Now we'll Expropriate. So this has to be frustrating for someone who just came to Arena on a Sunday afternoon just looking to have some fun. They unfortunately ran up against me. So sorry. So we'll choose time. And a lot of times the opponent might choose money in this case, but they're giving us 2 extra turns. Let's keep that rolling. We have quite a bit. So this costs 11 plus delve, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We actually can play this without even delving. So let's do that. Let's just keep the fun train going. Yeah. And so they're done, and that's what this deck does. Sorry, Possibility Field. Not sorry. Alright, going up against another token deck, so the fact that we have 3 board wipes in our hand seems pretty good. Let's see, so we should be able to activate all of them shortly. Yeah, let's do this. They're playing Authority of the Consuls. We don't care about that. We're not a creature deck, so... they play a land tax, which isn't going to do them much good. Let's see. Phyrexian Tower, allowing us to play Arcane Signet. Good. We'll be able to board wipe to our heart's content in a couple turns here. Go ahead and play out some tokens, opponent. Play some angels. Here, what do we do? Let's take a look at their hand with Valki, rather than just blowing up this angel. They will gain a life. They have a Starfield Invocation and a Raise the Alarm. And they're telling me oops because they think that I wanted to get a creature. Honestly, don't give a shit, man. I just want to see what the hell you got in your hand. I think it's you. I think it's me that's going to be saying oops here in a moment. Let's hope that we can... Oh, I love to see that blue. Let's see if we can make them sorry for saying that. For DMing us. They have a Raise the Alarm. That's fine. I want them to play that out. Although, yeah, that's fine. They can chump block here. We'll still be able to play this Legend of Kuruk. It's kind of a bad card at the beginning because it's a 4-mana scry draw 2. But that's really good because we want to put Emrakul to the bottom. We're not going to be able to play that anytime soon. So we drew a land. We've got our Scheming Symmetry, which we don't really want to play until we've got some kind of exile effect. So Bolas itself does that. Alright, so they're off to the races. Let's see. We do want to continue to get those land drops. Let's go ahead and set them back 1,000,000 years by Rivers rebuking them. So they're going to get real sad there. I got to hit him with the oops. Like, you got to, right? So you got to play out all their stuff again. They're giving them a little sleepy guy symbol. Yeah, have a backup plan, sure. Does your backup plan include taking millions of extra turns? No, that's me? Okay. Almost messed up there. I was sitting there talking trash. All right, Alrund's Epiphany. Let's... So if we Oracle the Alpha, that's going to get shuffled away, right? So we'll keep that there. Let's go ahead and just kill this for now with a Damnation. We're going to lose out on this Keurig, but I really just want to take a bunch of extra turns soon. So Alrund's Epiphany is going to allow us to do that. So we'll just play this for 7. Grab some water here. We get the tokens, they're tapped. They're giving us the little sad guy, that's fine. Let's do this. Let's Scheming Symmetry. Because we have the Phyrexian Tower, we can get 2 black mana from one of these birds. So let's Scheming Symmetry him. I wonder if they'll see the line that they should not be searching for anything. Because what we're going to do is we're going to search for an extra turn spell. And what we're going to do with them is we're going to exile whatever it is they search for. So we have 6 mana, but then we also have Phyrexian Tower. We can sack one of the birds, so we can still play Nicol Bolas. So we'll do that. Sack a creature. I'm not going to attack because they're at plenty of life here. I'd rather just keep back a blocker. So let's exile the top card and see if they understood that they should not have been searching for anything. Alright, so they have the Get Lost on the ready. That's fine. And they have a Season of the Burrow. I think they really did want that. So what can we do here? Can we pay? Let's see. What can we do? Create a rabbit, exile non-land permanent. Do we have anything in our graveyard? All right, let's do this. Let's exile the enchantment, and let's make some rabbits. So let's get rid of the authority of the consoles and make some rabbits. Let's just hit him for 1. Yeah, they could destroy all tokens, but that doesn't really matter. Alright, so the Divine Visitation. Wish I had known about that. But here's what we're going to do. I'm going to put a map token activation on one of the rabbits. Let's see what we get. Arcane Bombardment. Yeah, I think I want that. I definitely want that. So we will go ahead and make this a little bit bigger, and they're done. Yeah, this person was so done. So you look at what I was going to do. I was going to Temporal Manipulation, then I was going to play Arcane Bombardment, and then that means that any spell that I cast from here on out would get me things like River's Rebuke and the Temporal Manipulation. I was going to keep looping turn after turn after turn. It would only cost me 3 mana to do that. Sure, we might have exiled something like Scheming Symmetry or something like that, but we probably wouldn't play that. But we just have a lot of nasty spells. So anyway, they didn't like that, and that's what I'm here for. I'm here to ruin mono white and mono green players' day that think they're just gonna play Arena without thinking. We're here to smash those people's fun. All right, let's go ahead and open up a pack here. So in a future video, I'm going to be working on the most non-salty deck that I can make. It'll be just a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles deck, the one that you can find in the store in Arena. Let's check it out real quick. So in decks, we've got the Foundation deck, Brawl Heroes in a Half Shell. Arena wants to charge you 10,000 gems, which is like $50. That's crazy because that's like about as much as the real commander deck is, which I did just buy, by the way. So I went ahead and found a way to get that deck list into my client. They don't offer you an easy way to do it in here for some reason. So I just found an external deck list. I made it. I've got about 9 more wild cards or something like that to actually take this out. It'll be funny because I'll actually salt myself out of the game probably because the way I play is usually to make like super frustrating decks, but this is like the most fair deck you can think of. So wonder how I will react to other people doing broken things and me having to do the fair thing. So that'll be coming up in a future video, so be looking for that. All right, up against Zurgo, Thunder's Decree. And in our opening hand, as we've had quite a few games, we've got a Damnation. So this looks keepable. We do need to hit another black land or some kind of mana rock. But it seems like a decent opener. So we'll lead off with the Steam Vents. And so anyway, this is another aggro token deck. All right, sweet. So we drew a mana rock. We'll play that. And now we'll have Damnation online. Zurgo's a decent enough threat to where I don't feel bad using a board wipe on that commander. But look, off the top we drew a Ragavan. So let's go ahead and sneak that bad boy out. Hit him for 2, grab a treasure, and then fix our mana. We exiled a land from them, so we can't play it. But now they're wise to Ragavan, and they're going to be playing their commander next turn. We'll wipe the board. So they shock in Blood Crypt, which means they've got something more to do than the Zurgo. So this creature is fine. It's a blocker. I don't think we're going to waste an entire board wipe on that. Instead, we're going to keep advancing our mana. So out comes Dimir Signet. So if we play Jace, we're going to waste a treasure. I don't love that. Let's go ahead and let them play out some more things. So we're already at 6 mana. They're at 5. So you can play Zurgo and something else. Okay, not familiar with this card. Has haste. So let's... I don't like this because, let's see, when it enters, exile up to 1 other target creature you control until this creature leaves the battlefield. So what can we do here? We can slow them down. Let's Cyclonic Rift this. And they will be able to hit us for 4, right? But there's no target for them there. And now what we can do, we can Bolas and kill this, right? Yeah, I think that's the play, because doubt that they have haste too much else in their deck other than that, and that gets rid of this cleanly. And then we can sweep up whatever. They're going to probably try to flood the zone with a bunch of creatures now, and then we can punish them with the Damnation. Or they could kill our Planeswalker. Either one's fine. So they have 6 mana at their disposal. Alright, so let's Damnation him. Let's exile 2 cards from their hand. Because that's going to be 50% of their hand, right? So what did they get rid of?
I hope you miss this.
Treacherous Greed and Mishra. We're still in our attack phase, so let's dash out Ragavan. Get some more mana. Exiled an Isolated Chapel. And they've got this Firebender, Avatar Roku Firebender. I don't think... So we'll get rid of it here in a moment. But what they don't realize... Oh, and they had an extra combat creature in their hand. That's cute. Well, what would happen? Let's see. Let's try to sequence this. So we want... If we have 8 mana, which we don't, we could have played Ickermoon Gauntlet. But instead, we're going to have to Time Warp. And we'll play out Ragavan as a 1-drop. And here, let's go ahead and knock out this creature that is going to be a problem. So now we should have the mana to play out Jace and Ickermoon Gauntlet. Do we care about this enchantment? Not for us. So let's Ickermoon Gauntlet, which is a proliferate effect. Let's go ahead and play out Jace. That's going to let us proliferate onto here. Let's go ahead and draw some cards, and yeah, goodbye. Mental Misstep Games. Hey, maybe they're another gaming channel. I hope so. See ya. All right, moving on to another game. Let's see. This is not keepable. We'll mulligan that. This is perfect. We got a couple lands, some early ramp. We got a Ragavan. Yeah, we'll keep this. So anyway, I have improved my video, as you can see from last week. I was doing a cube draft video, and I had some parts of my face cutting off. I did a bunch of work to get that resolved. So if you like and subscribe to my channel, I can promise you that I will sorry about that. I will continue to keep improving my content, improve my delivery, and give you some of the saltiest games you could ever imagine. So if all that sounds interesting to you, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, and we will continue to have some good games. So they're playing Riel the Everwise. This is kind of an old school commander from 2020. It cares about getting instant end sorceries into the graveyard. They played it out, so Ragavan will not be able to attack. I'll go ahead and lead it off on a Thundering Falls. Land is good. We'll go ahead and play our Talisman. We will not attack because it's a wasted attack. The 2-1 will bounce off the 0-3, so no attacks. Next turn, we will be able to Blasphemous Edict if we find it's necessary. So here they are filling their graveyard with the Faithless Looting. Stands to be mentioned, that's the weirdest artwork ever. It's like the dude's has a cup of hot coffee in one hand and he's pouring some blood from the other cup. Very strange. Alright, they played a Thopter Fabricator. What do you do? Flying whenever you draw your second card each turn, which they'll do. Create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying and has crew 2. Alright, so they're tapped out, so let the extra turns begin. Lead it off with Temporal Manipulation. The first one is going to be a bit of a ramp spell because, see, we hit a mana rock, but we weren't able to advance our board very much. We'll go ahead and play the Dominion Bracelet, which I bet if I looked at my win rate for wins when this is in hand, I bet you this is really low. But it is a Mind Theft effect. It comes up once every 100 games, I guess. You have to pay the amount of mana. It costs X less to activate, where X is the creature's power, and it would cost 15. So currently, right now, like to take control of their turn, it would cost 12 mana, right? So we're going to swing in with the Ragavan, the beefed up Ragavan. We're going to steal something from them. Improbable alliance. Do we want this? I don't think I care about that. That's really something that their deck wants more than mine does. I mean, sure, I'm going to be stealing some things from them, but I don't think it matters enough to steal this. Okay, so they take out the Ragavan. You son of a bitch. How dare you? I don't really care. I'm going to make them very sad next turn with... So they may be a counterspell deck. If I was them, what do I think... What do I think that my opponent would play? Me. I think they think that I would play the Nicol Bolas, right? That is the probable play. So sadly, like if they have a negate in their hand, all of these are non-creature spells. What are we losing from any of this? Let's play into them thinking that we are going to play the Bolas by playing the Bolas. It looks like they have a counterspell up. Yep, as expected, but there's not a lot of downside to making that play. I would rather them negate this play than any of these other ones, and we got a counterspell out of their hand. Like, I knew they had that, right? So what we'll do at this point, they've got one blue up, right? So they're intending on swinging for quite a large amount of damage. Let's see, probably at least 8. Yep. All right. Let us worst fears here. And I hope they don't have a counter for that. It wasn't likely. So we're going to take control of them. So what's the worst possible thing that we can do to them? We can tap their own creatures. What else can we do? We can cycle a Shark Typhoon for nothing, for no value. So let's see. So first we'll get rid of their Shark Typhoon. Actually, before I do this, let's count up the mana to make sure we can do that. Okay, so what does this cost? This costs 5. And then we can Shark Typhoon for nothing. I like that. So we will tap this and this. And they don't untap on their next turn. And let's... Is there anything else we can do? It doesn't look like we can actually Shark Typhoon for 0 because it's 1 and an X. I think that's okay. Let's just tap them down here and pass. We will not attack ourselves, because why the hell would we do that? Alright, so this Seagate Restoration, we do have just enough to do that, but Let's go ahead and Blasphemous Edict them. What will they be able to do? Guess they can make a big shark token. Yeah, I think that's the play, because it'll get rid of a lot of things. All their things. And I think we give ourselves the opportunity to Seagate Restoration next turn. So they play Teferi's Tutelage. Just checking their graveyard. They have a few cards there. They could Sharks Typhoon. All right, so here, let's go ahead and try to Seagate Restoration. Let's see what happens there. We do that before we play the land, so to give ourselves more mana. Let's see, let's play Steam Vents tapped. They played a Thirst for Discovery. They're going to mill us. Mill us for 6. Alright, so they got a little bit of a combo set up here. So you're going to mill us for quite a bit here. Looks like they'll mill us for 12. Our library is shrinking. So they've got all this set up, right? But what would happen if they got Rivers Rebuked? So what of these are artifacts? So you have 9 mana. Let's go ahead and steal their Thopter. That's the only artifact that I can steal that makes a lot of sense. So Dack is pretty cool because you can -2 him and steal any artifact you want. They may try to crew it in response, not sure.
This artifact has a fascinating history.
Let's actually Temporal Trespass because we have a ton of cards in our graveyard that we can exile, so let's do that. So we got 6. I think I counted right there. Yep, that'll let us take another turn. Oh, cool. Look at that. We've got a Mizzix Mastery. And we should be able to cast every spell out of our graveyard. Oh, this is going to be so sick, guys. Watch this. This is going to be freaking awesome. So we're going to have ourselves discard a couple cards. Yeah, let's go ahead and discard a couple of these really cool extra turn spells and this Rivers Rebuke. And we made ourselves a little Thopter. We don't care about that at all. Let's play the Watery Grave. Now let's go ahead and Mizzix Mastery, and we will get to play everything that they milled. So all that milling that they did, that's a huge backfire for them, because look at all this. We're going to definitely make them sad with this. So first, Rivers Rebuke, all that shit back to your hand. Karn's Temporal Sundering. We will, sort of a redundant effect, we'll just put this back in their hand. We'll Damnation. We'll Expropriate. We will not we will not Alchemist Gambit because I'm not sure how that cleave thing works. I'm not interested in losing the game. We will Seagate's Restoration. We will Blasphemous Edict. And we will Temporal Manipulation. And we'll decline that. And there's going to be 7 nasty spells on the stack. And get the hell out of here. Is it? Just get out of here. Smiley face, of course. Alright, up against a Tali. I don't think this is a keepable hand. We're going to have to mull this. Like this, we'll bend the Alchemist Gambit. So that can go bye-bye. You have a lot of ramp. I would expect they're going to be a deck filled with ramp as well. We'll always lead this off with the Xander's Lounge, just to fix our mana. There you go. Phyrexian Tower will be next. Into Talisman of Indulgence. So they don't have any early ramp themselves. I would imagine they're going to get something here. Cabaret Revels. Creature, something less mana value, put it on the battlefield. Seems alright. Let's put this on blue. Let's untap this so that we can play out a Key to the Archive. We're putting the green deck to shame here. Ooh, look at that. Demonic Tutor. Or a D-Spark. I like Demonic Tutor better because I can search up one of my extra turn spells. What's the weakest card here? Probably Legend of Keurig. We'll dump that. Alright, so they have 4 mana, Aetherflux Reservoir. Oh, okay. And then we drew the Alchemist Gambit anyway. Let's see. Let's Midnight Clock them. Let's Demonic Tutor. Let's check our mana real quick. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we can search for a 7 mana extra turn spell or something of that nature. Or we could just take one of the cheap ones that goes in our graveyard. Which one do we take? Time Warp or Temporal Manipulation? They're both so pretty. Time Warp, I think. That's interesting. I've never seen an Aetherflux Reservoir in an Atali deck. So what does this guy do? Say something about creature spells can't be countered? I see. Well, bad news for our opponent. We are not a counterspell deck at all. Alright, so what kind of nasty shenanigans do we get up to here? So what we can do is we can Scheming Symmetry them. And they'll think that they can draw something, but what they don't know is it's not going to be their turn. So let's grab the other one. I know we were going back and forth on which one we're getting. We're going to get this one. Yeah, see, this is the kind of evil that I like to build, guys. We're just setting them up to... They're gonna... Dude, their head's gonna explode like any minute now. So like, oh man, let me grab one of my Land War Elves or one of those shitty green creatures, or a protection spell, something super useful. But they're never gonna get it. Like, we never play this fucking card without a game plan, guys. So Time Warp, into Temporal Manipulation, into Alchemist Gambit. That's 3 extra turn spells in a row. I'm super happy. Oh my gosh. We can... Alright. Look at this, guys. Mizzix Mastery. Do it all over again. Yes, this is what we came to do. This is what we came to do. Bring the misery. Do we Scheming Symmetry? Sure. So demonic will okay, they'll resolve first. That goes in our hand. Okay. We'll just grab part the Water Veil into our hand. Alright, so Scheming Symmetry is next. Alrund's Epiphany, that's another extra turn spell. Like, we're popping off. This is like what I built this deck for. You'll never see anything else like this in Arena, guys. This is a point in Paper Commander where I just get lost in the turns, right? But in Arena, it's pretty easy. I'll go ahead and foretell this to save a little bit of mana. Alright, so another extra turn. We'll hit him for 2. Alright, we're starting to get towards the end of the extra turn shenanigans. But I guarantee once we Rivers Rebuke them, they're hanging it up. And they hang it up right there. Yeah, it was going to get real bad. I am surprised that they let us do that much. But yeah, that's what this deck can do. And it is pretty sick. Alright, going up against Balin the Haymaker. Kind of hate that card. It's usually a rabbit deck. So, 3 lands and a Damnation. Mornsong Aria, Expropriate, and all these other ones aren't good, but we're just going to keep it based on the fact that we can kill... Maybe we can kill these rabbits on turn 4. Let's see what happens. We'll keep that hand. Not the best on some of these cards. We can foretell the Alrund's Epiphany. Alright. Let's not let them know about the Ragavan, so we'll Xander's Lounge. So they don't play anything there. I like seeing that. Let's dash out the Ragavan. Hit him. Get a treasure. Steal a card that they probably wanted. The Dollmaker Shop. Yeah, this is a Go Wide Tokens deck, so that's awesome that we stole that. It has the 2 mana side. Whenever you attack, player, create a toy. And then the other one is... Creatures you control have base power and toughness equal to the number of creatures you control. That's for 6, so by that time, they're bound to have a ton of rabbits or whatever kind of tokens they're playing. Let's go ahead and play an Undercity Sewers. Just kind of set up our next turn. We don't want the Sauron Markov. We need lands and ramp. So hit him again. We don't want that. We don't want to waste the treasures by foretelling this, so we'll end turn. And we'll pass. So all the cards that we take, they just end up going to exile. Alright, they play an Elspeth. This is fine. Let's see. We have 6 mana at our disposal, so let's set up for a future turn. Let's foretell here. Let's play out Dominion Bracelet. It's not going to probably be relevant, but we're just trying to make best use of our mana as possible. Next turn, I believe we're going to take an extra turn because we've got this Soporific Springs. We can pay 3 life. And so Alrund's Epiphany is 6. So we did not play into their blocker with the Ragavan. So now this is giving them pause, right? Because... Alright, so they play a Mondrak, which synergizes with tokens. Looks like what they probably want to do is give Mondrak Indestructible, which seems alright. Alright, so we've got another land. Let's set ourselves up here. Opponent has some kind of pause going on here. I don't know what the hell's going on. Maybe they're considering whether they go ahead and activate Mondrak's ability. I don't know. Let's just go ahead and search up a snow-covered island. We'll go ahead and Alrund's Epiphany. We'll get a treasure. I think what we want to do next is we want to kill our Archangel Elspeth with Bolas. I think that's the play, right? We can block for a little bit here. And they may do that in response here, but I'm not going to target the Mondrak. I'm going to actually target the Archangel. So we'll do 7 damage to it.
Can protect you now.
Are we getting the salt rope, guys? Are we getting the salt rope? What is there to think about? You probably can't protect your planeswalker here, so it feels like you're just being salty. But that's okay. That's what the channel's all about, right? We come bringing the pain, and the pain is dispensed. Or they're just timing out. No attacks. Leave up blockers for Nicol Bolas. So the thing is that they'll always probably leave up 1 mana here. Because they can pay 1 mana and 4 life. That's what those Phyrexian symbols mean there. That you can pay either 3 mana, 1 and 2 white, or you can pay 2 life for each of those symbols. And so they can just leave up 1 mana, pay 4 life, make this indestructible, and sacrifice 2 of these. So it's not like they're in terrible position here. I took one extra turn. Looks like they might have timed out here, which I'm okay with. I guess we will continue. I think what we want to do here is we want to empty their hand rather than get any of their stupid token makers. So to me, I think we'll continue to advance our mana and get up to this expropriate, which will cost 9. We're nearly there. This will be 8 right here, this Dimir Signet. And looks like one extra turn was all it took for this person to salt out of the game. See ya, Naza. You and your rabbits, go home.